Hey everyone, Manu here. Last year, I got the opportunity to interview Ethan Pride of the WCA board, the chair of the WCA board, at Rubik's North American Championships in Minnesota. We talked a lot about how the WCA has evolved during his time on the board and what the WCA is going to look like in the future, coming off the heels of All Stars. Are we going to see more spectator friendly competitions? And also taking a look at Worlds 2025. I know it's going to be very, very exciting. Where the audio is a little bit quiet because we're talking during four blind. So sorry about that, but hopefully you all can still hear loud and clear. Decided to upload it onto my channel for posterity's sake, so here you go. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome everyone. 3 days of competition gone. Championship Sunday left here at Rubik's WCA North American Championships 2024. I know it's a mouthful, but every single piece of that is deserved. I'm here with board chair Ethan Pride. How's it going, Ethan?
It's great. It's great to be here and see all of the preparation that's gone into it, come to fruition and see everyone here enjoying themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's been an absolute blast. We just saw a really exciting four-blind round that we will recap for you later. But Ethan, do you just want to quickly introduce yourself and the WCA as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Ethan. I'm from Australia. I've been part of the WCA board for 5 years now. So we lead the organisation of volunteers through direction, where the organisation's going, how we can improve it. Overall, we are off the general competitions, but improving the overall how WCA runs.
Yeah, so we're talking like really, really high level here. We're talking, overseeing things like regulations,
Absolutely.
disciplinary. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Tell me how this major has kind of gone for you. You mentioned that it's the first time you've been in the States, so
Yeah,
tell me all about it.
It's been very cool to see a North American competition, because they're what I've been told is the standard, and this competition has proved that they're really putting on the standard of what competitions should be and what major championships look like, what the stream at a major championship should look like.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic stream. Shout out to Happy Feet Productions. They've been very, very professional throughout everything. All right, Ethan, one of the things I want to discuss is many viewers, I think, are not super familiar with the structure of the WCA. I certainly wasn't when I started cubing in 2013. So do you just want to talk through that a little bit, like where the board sits, all the different, maybe not all the teams, but at least what the team structure looks like?
And I think it's generally good that the structure is in the background, because if
Right.
people were very aware of it, there's probably some issues in terms of it's causing friction points. But yeah, so the WCA, it's a team of over 700 volunteers across many countries. The local contacts that you see, they're the delegates, and they're led by their regional delegates and their senior delegates. Then on the other side of the WCA, there's teams and committees. They do all the work, like writing the regulations, writing policies, helping improve quality standards. They're led by a leader, and then all of those leaders and seniors, they report into the board in terms of how each thing's going, because we can't be on every minor thing, but our job's to have an overview of how the organisation's going.
Yeah, and I can give just a few examples. So, for example, I'm a delegate in California. I have a regional lead. That is Michael Young. You've probably seen him run around the back of the stream before. Our senior delegate for North America, Matthew Dickerman. You've also seen him on the stream before. And just an example of people who are on some teams, Carter Kukala, who has been on stream many times. He's a member of both the disciplinary...
The leader of the regulation.
And the leader of the regulations committee. Yep, exactly. And now we have Ethan, member of board. So
Yes.
hopefully that gives some idea, some names to faces.
Of
and
how the structure of it all goes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a really interesting structure, and I think you're right. I think it is actually a good thing that a lot of this is behind, because hopefully the average competitor never really has to deal with WDC or WRC,
That's
right?
it. The average competitor goes to our competitions. They should enjoy the competition, enjoy the experience, but not have to deal with the disciplinary committee or the regulations committee on a day-to-day basis.
Right, exactly. All right, Ethan, one of the things I want to talk to you about is I think you are the longest serving board member right now, and like you mentioned, you've been on board for 5 years. Part of that was through COVID. So tell me about what that transition was and what the WCA was kind of doing during COVID, because it was a weird time for all of us.
Absolutely. It was a weird time. What we did end up adopting a worldwide policy of safety, making sure that we're not, our delegates didn't feel the pressure to go back to competitions until it was safe to. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help support our delegates, not feel pressured. In COVID times, the WCA was limited in the programs it could do because of financial constraints.
Yeah.
Because money does run everything. Yeah, it does seem. It's just the financial constraints that existed, and coming out of COVID, we saw a massive boom. We saw 3 years of growth within a year, and every delegate in every region was pushing and pushing to try and give the spots for competitors. Now, what we've got is a little bit of we haven't decided if it's a slowing of growth, or if there's just more spots available.
Yeah, it's always going to be a supply and demand problem at the end of the day, right? This is a little bit outside of, I think, our talking points, but I think also something that I think we can bring up. I want to talk a little bit about that marketing effort that was done Newcomer Month. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So Newcomer Month we held in March, and it was all about promoting more newcomers to attend competitions. So we reserved spots for newcomers at some of the key areas where it filled up too much. We had 2,000 extra newcomers that month than what a normal month would see.
Wow.
In terms of getting more people, it was really really useful, really useful tool. We found that regions found ways to hold competitions that were more friendly for newcomers, because that's what we can sometimes get in the trap of. You and I, we've been to a lot of competitions, so we know how we like competitions, but it's hard to remember back to our first competition.
Yeah, definitely. And the newcomer event that I went to in the Bay Area, that was definitely very fun. We gave out like goodie bags to everyone, and all the newcomers seemed to have a pretty good time. So I think that effort definitely seemed to have worked. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of other things the WCA is going to put together in the future.
Absolutely, and that was one of the whole board's here at this championship. So we've been holding meetings, strategy meetings, and we held meetings with the marketing team leader about how we can do more things like that in the future that help improve the WCA's marketability. More people find out about the WCA, because the casual cubing scene is so big.
Yeah, very. Very, very big. I'm sure there are many viewers who are like, yeah, they keep saying Rubik's WCA. I know what Rubik's is. What is the WCA? That's the whole point.
That's it. And there's so many people that we've even run into at other conventions here. They're like, yeah, I can solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds, but I'm not quick enough to.
Yes, we get this so often. So often. I mean, the short answer is just attend the competition.
Absolutely.
They're just so fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to be number one.
When I started, I was no good.
Yeah, I was 30-second solver.
And I'm still no good.
It's same here. Yeah. Same here. No, exactly. Tell me a little bit about like how much like cubing has like kind of changed, because 5 years is a pretty long time as we're seeing. There's a ton of change. I feel like every almost like 6 months cubing like changes dramatically.
There's a new thing, yeah. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to push change and how we can streamline the organisation with 700 volunteers. When we started out, major championships was sort of the board selected the team, they ran it. No further contact. We've now brought it in so that the WCA has helped get the sponsors for the major championships. So we help negotiate the sponsorship deals. We found the teams have been getting more funding.
That's good.
And then, even new changes coming are having a team to help major championship organisers, because there's not many people who organise more than one major championship. Because of the big volunteer effort that requires.
There's so much effort that goes into this. I mean, it's probably not super obvious to everyone back here, but even just putting on this stream, putting on all of the setup, everything, getting the venue, everything behind the scenes, there's so much that goes on. I mean, even as someone who's organized and delegated like normal competitions and even larger competitions like a regional championship, this just does not compare.
Absolutely, and I think what it shows is the power of volunteers, because completely volunteer run event this, and some of the other conventions in this hall would have 10 to 20 paid employees running these events.
Yeah,
and it shows the drive of our volunteers and to be able to run these really high level events.
Yeah. I think it's quite spectacular, and I love major championships just because even if nothing, like my results this were terrible, right? But just being on the stream, that's fantastic. And even if without this, I feel like just seeing all of these people come together for this shared hobby, I feel like that's one of the things that makes the WCA truly.
It's about
special.
sharing something, and I think 90% of competitors go to a WCA competition without the expectation of winning.
Oh yeah,
and that's what's great. They don't go to win. They go to beat their best. They go to beat their friend.
Yeah.
They go to maybe I'll make second round this time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely would not have half of the friends I currently have without cubing, so I'm certainly very thankful for the WCA. All right, Ethan, one of the things I kind of want to shift to here, and this is, I guess I'm looking for more of your personal thoughts, is kind of where do you think cubing is going next in terms of like, we recently had the All-Stars event, and that was kind of presented as a little bit different from the major championships, and so I'm kind of curious to hear about what you think about moving towards more spectator-friendly content and whether or not that may or may not mesh well with what we currently have.
Absolutely, and I think part of the marketing discussion that we were having is how does someone turn onto the stream and know what's happening?
Yeah.
Which is, it's a big discussion we've been having. Like, how do I start on this stream and know if I were to click on in 20 minutes when there's solves happening, how do I know what's happening? How do I know who the big players are? And this is where the format like All Stars was great because it's focused on the 30 key players, very spectator friendly. From what I heard, unfortunately I missed it, but there was a very big in-person non-cubing audience.
Yeah. If you look back at some of the live streams, and this is also for anyone at home, the way that it worked, there was a rotunda, and then there was 4 stories of just like viewing, which is just wild. Something we've never seen in cubing before.
That's it, and we just need to be able to provide the ability for people to watch, and I think they will watch. But there are certain blockers to that. The biggest one that is hard to explain, but how do we fix this is an average of 5. How do you explain an average of 5 to a non-cuber?
There's loads of memes going around specifically about me because I like to explain the average of 5. I'm like, there are people who don't understand, and it's like that one meme where the guy's like sweating and he's like has like the nerve coming out of his head, like Manu trying not to explain average of 5 every group.
That is, but it's true because how do you explain? Well, we get rid of the worst, we get rid of the best, we average out the middle. Someone with like slower solves could have a better average.
Right.
In circumstances.
Yeah, it's certainly very interesting, and I'm personally also very interested to see some interesting new formats and what we can do. I think All Stars was really cool because nothing out of it was like particularly outside of what we currently do. Everything is part of the current regulations, and I thought it was fantastic. It was a great event, so I'm really curious to see how even making some slight tweaks may enhance that experience even further without ruining the experience for everyone else. That is.
That's it, and I think there is still value in these major championships of having 800-900 people in the same room sharing the same hobby. So, it's that balancing act, and I think we can do better to make the spectator-friendly experience because we do very good at making the inclusivity at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's a balancing act of we don't want people to feel like they're not welcome.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, because that is, I think, one of the greatest things that cubing has going for it compared to any other hobby. It's just so inclusive.
That's it, and it's the one group you sit down. I remember my first competition. I sat down. On my right was Felix Emdix, and
Exactly.
you compete against him in your first ever competition.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just so approachable, and I that's the one thing I love about cubing is all these guys, they're all here. Yeah. You can get a photo with them. It's very easy.
That's it. They're not behind like piles of security guards.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I am going to shift back to a little bit about like on the board perspective now. One of the things that I think you mentioned earlier is like money is like really important, right? So what kind of the things is the WCA doing to get more like sponsorships and things like this?
Absolutely. So what we need to look into, I think, is external sponsors. Traditionally, cubing has always been internal. Cubing related, Rubik's, Cubicle, which are great sponsors.
Yeah.
And they're a great base, but there needs to be a look into how can we get people from outside the cubing scene, because the market of cubing is very marketable to a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So even this weekend, that's been a lot of our strategy discussions. How can we reach out to these companies? And the biggest thing can just be getting contacts and all that.
Of
and
course.
it's a lot of work, but that's how, with more money, these events look better, the streams look better. We're marketing more. And then when you're marketing more, it's easy to get more sponsorship in.
Yeah, totally. I think it's a little bit of a positive reinforcement loop, if you will. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be one of the most exciting things because I feel like just now we're seeing some external companies kind of enter cubing a little bit.
Yes.
Some people you may not expect, and I think it's going to be very exciting. Let's do a little bit of look ahead for Worlds next year.
Yes.
It will be I think that World is going to be the 20th anniversary of the WCA? Because I guess if you...
so the 20th anniversary of the WCA is this year.
Oh, it's this year? Okay.
This year. Yeah, but I think it'll be
It'll be the first Worlds for the
first Worlds after the 20th
We can market it as a 20th anniversary.
Exactly. So there'll be some marketing around the 20th anniversary, but Worlds next year is going to be massive.
Yeah.
2,000 competitors. So double the size of this. I was talking to the organisers. The margin of error on what they expect to register for 6x6 is equal to the largest 6x6 round.
That sounds about
right. That's just
right.
the margin of error.
That sounds about right to me. Yeah, because things change so much, especially with this new qualification, the phase qualification system.
And I'm interested, what do you think about the phase?
Oh, yeah, it's very interesting. I was actually talking to Kevin Hayes about this last night in the hotel lobby. It's certainly very interesting. It will allow a lot of the top competitors to show up, but we also think at the same time it gives people a goal to shoot for. And phase 1 is not large enough to the point where the competition is going to fill.
It's not going to sell out. Well, I hope not.
Yeah, it's very
unlikely to sell out in phase 1.
And the phase 2 times are also not insanely difficult. They are definitely hard enough to the point where you would need to actually practice and seriously practice. But at that point, if you're going to practice, then you might as well practice a little bit more for Worlds and actually get into that conversation.
And it gives people that goal.
Yeah,
goal to achieve.
yeah. So I think it's a really, really interesting idea, and I think it also will allow people to, you only need to qualify for one event, and then from there, once we hit to phase 4, you can add your remaining events, the ones you may not be as good in, and that gives back a little bit of value.
That's it. The value in terms of, if you just qualify for one event, you can still compete in the others because a trip to Seattle may not be personally worth one event for some people.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's certainly very interesting, and I'm excited to see how exactly it will roll out because I think everything is a mystery, and I like mysteries. It's suspense, it's drama.
Well, I'm hoping the mystery's not far away.
Yeah,
is what we're hoping.
We're all holding our breath.
But
so
we're really looking forward to being in Seattle next year.
Yeah,
the same organisers as this comp, very experienced team.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree. I think it will be. I think Seattle's a great location. Very accessible from other parts of the world, as particularly on the other side of the Pacific. So, yeah. With that, Ethan, I think we're going to wrap up. Thanks so much. This has been great. It's great to hear from the board a little bit and talking directly to all of you sitting at home.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure, and I hope everyone enjoys the stream, and I hope everyone joins us next week for the European Championship.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be there. So
I'll be there as well.
Oh yeah, so that'll be very fun. You won't want to miss that as well.
Exactly.
But for now, we're gonna take a quick break and get on to clock semifinal. That's gonna be exciting too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan.